Hello, Jennifer. So we have here your NURB extruded slide here, and you're trying to close up this gap here. And there's a few things going on that are preventing this from happening that I want to show you, and then kind of show you some other solutions as well on how to fix it, or maybe another way to go about it. The first thing I'm going to show you is that for some reason I'm in high quality mode. I don't know if that is going to show up on your computer as well, but I'm going to go to another view. I'm just going to go open up a view here, and I'm just going to open up another perspective view that is not high quality, because there's a Maya bug that doesn't allow me to see the CVs in it. Okay, so here's what you did. You made a curve shape here, and then you had another curve shape that is the curvature of the slide, and this is the shape of it, and you extruded along that shape to make this slide, and we want to close up this gap here. You will notice that if I were to select this shape and move it, it's connected to the NURB surface, but it's not on the NURB surface itself, which that might be problematic. Maybe not. It probably is, but we're just going to just move forward, and we're going to kind of start over again. I'm going to select this NURB shape that we have here, and I'm going to duplicate it. So if I go Control D, I've made another shape. You can modify, or is it Edit, Duplicate? I forget where it is. Yes, it's Edit, Duplicate. You can do the same thing, but Control D is the hotkey. So I've made another shape here, and I'm going to bring it off to the side, and then I'm also going to duplicate this this other curve that you've made here. So Control D, and I'm going to bring that shape over there, and we're going to do the extrude again. But there's a couple things that we need to do to this shape here before we do that that filling of the hole. We're going to be doing a planar filling, and there's some things that need to happen before that will work. So the first thing as I'm going to show you is I'm going to get close here, and you can see that it's an open surface. At this shape here, if we get in real close, the points are not connected, and that's actually going to cause a problem, and it's also going to not make a clean surface. So if I select the shape, I'm going to right click and go Control Vertex, and you're going to have these control points, and I'm going to clean up. So there's actually two control points at the beginning here. They have a different looking point than just the solid dot. I'm going to pick this one. I'm going to move it off. So there's an overlapping point there. And then I'm going to pick the first point, and I'm going to press Z, and I'm going to snap it to that last point. So the beginning and the end of this shape are connected. And so I'm going to do that, and I'm just going to reshape this a little bit. You can mess around with kind of controlling that shape. But now I have this control. I have that shape now connected, and it's a closed curve. The other thing to notice is that it's sort of bent, and all of these control points and the curves are not straight, and that's actually causing a little bit of a problem too. And there's an easy way to fix that. So I'm going to select all of those points right there, and all of them are selected. I'm going to go to the scale, which is the R key, and I'm going to scale it in Y all the way. So I'm going to undo that and show you what's happening. It's getting close. So if I scale it in Y, it straightens that curve. And if we do that a couple times, we just straighten that curve just like that, it'll make a perfectly straight curve, and all the points will line up. And then you can kind of adjust these points as needed, but just make sure that you have a perfectly straight curve. Now if I right click over it, go back into object mode, select it, now I can reposition it. Another thing that's happening here is that the center is up here now, Actually, it was that on this curve as well, but the center is not on the curve. And if we go to modify center pivot, that'll put the center of any object, it'll center the pivot point on this object. So now it's a little easier to move around. And again, that also might be causing some of the issues that you were having. Maya is a very precise mathematical tool, and sometimes it just needs everything to be perfect. So let's just kind of position that curve right up against this curve here. And we're going to select the shape first, then the control curve, go to surfaces and extrude, and there we go. And we have a very similar surface to the one you made. That's pretty easy. We know how to do that. But the problem is that we have this hole that you want to fill. Now, the thing you would think that would work would be to select the curve that you made, and then you go to Surfaces, Planner. I'm going to open up the option box, and it defaults to cubic. I set it to linear. I think that works better. You just have to play around with it, and then you apply. And there you go. And that filled in that hole quite nicely. One other thing I want to show you, let's undo that. And let's just see what happens. I'm going to undo that. We'll do that again in a second. But I want to show you some other things that might be causing problems. And I'm going to go to this old curve that you made, and we're going to go to Display with that selected, NURBs, and I want to display the normals. Now let's just take a look at this, and I just kind of show you what's going on here. The normals are what faces, the faces on any surface, which way they are pointing, and that's what's going to take the texture. And actually, the normals are pointing inward. They're inside out. And that's because the original curve that I made was inside out as well. We can fix this quite easily if we just have this selected, go into Edit NURBS, and reverse surface direction, and then everything's fine again. Let's just see if it's the same on this one here. Let's go to Display, NURBS, NURBS, normal shaded, yes, and those are pointed inwards too. And if we go to Edit NURBS, reverse surface direction, that will fix that as well. And let's just turn that off. We don't need to see those anymore now that we know that they're the right direction. Let's just go do that.